everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
And I'm going to keep this energy up.
Yeah.
With Jeremy.
Let's go.
Appreciate that.
There we go. Hey, and I mean, you're killing it with the Laugh With Me podcast.
Yeah, Laugh With Me podcast.
Yeah.
We're about ready to launch season 2, September 4th. Find it really anywhere you can get your podcast. But holy cow.
You know, I follow you on Twitter, and like I said, when I walk my dog, I still tune in. You know,
I appreciate that.
That's my
Season
dog
2, bigger and better. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to have you guys on
Let's
season
go.
2. So,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
lock that
I'll make
in.
fun of Andy anywhere.
Absolutely.
I can't believe people laugh at me. What's going on? Well, we are going to continue our fantasy football extravaganza, and now we got to talk wide receiver.
Let's do it.
Did you know wide receivers had their own show on Netflix last year? I mean, yeah,
We're going to talk about a couple of them right now.
We have to, yeah. They're just so set on being in the limelight. They had to have their own little special to talk about themselves catching a football.
Exactly.
So, anyway, in my PPR leagues, these guys can accidentally score some big-time points,
No
these
doubt.
volume guys. And what's really curious to me is CeeDee Lamb, consensus number one, no matter who you talk to. He's going number one receiver overall. But he has a big red O. He is out. He is not signed right now. And as you mentioned, as we were driving out to the studio, Jerry's being kind of weird with the Stars right now. Why aren't these contracts getting signed?
This should be a team gunning for a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
And it just feels like they're in flux and they don't really know who's going to be available to them. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not good for morale, I suppose.
It's creating a controversy where you don't really need that controversy. Just sign CeeDee Lamb and be done with it.
Sign the best wide receiver in the NFL. Just sign him, Jerry.
It's a no-brainer.
So, and I'll piggyback on that. It's a no-brainer for me to take CeeDee Lamb number one overall. If he falls far enough in that first round, I am snatching him up.
Yeah, Andy, that's the way that everybody has it. I mean, average draft position is literally right behind Christian McCaffrey in most leagues.
Yeah.
So it's CMC, CeeDee Lamb, just because you get the upside with CMC on the ground. But with CD, he's going to get so many catches, especially in PPR leagues. This guy is a slam dunk first-round pick. He'll be playing for the Cowboys. Dak is going to look his way every play that they are passing the ball.
And what I love about Lamb is that versatility. Yes, he's going to get 7, sometimes 8, 9 catches per game. But he also can break off those long passes. He can get vertical on you,
he gets
too.
big touchdowns.
He's not just that slot guy that Wes Welker used to be a staple of mine. I don't know. He was
Of course.
just always on my team, but I'm like, 12 catches, that's 12 points. And, he got 60 yards, so whatever.
Consistency. I take that.
I like that. But with CeeDee Lamb, he can get 12 catches and have over 200 yards.
And 2 touchdowns.
How many times have we seen that?
Yeah, not a lot, Andy. I mean, the top 3 guys here can do that consistently, obviously, when their quarterbacks are playing at a high level. I believe with the top 3 guys that we're talking about, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Dak Prescott is definitely the best quarterback in these top 3. So you have to think CeeDee Lamb is going to have the best year at wide receiver.
Now, if you were going to add another guy to that group, because that's an insane group, I would look at a team that maybe has a motivated quarterback that is driven coming off an injury. And Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I mean, Chase is going to have a monster year too.
No doubt.
And they're an offense that's going to need him to produce big in order to compete. But those guys you named, you're getting consistent production every single week.
And in the ESPN power rankings for wide receivers in a PPR league, Jamar Chase is actually right above Justin Jefferson. And I do think they're taking into account that Joe Burrow has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yes, he does.
And the not the Browns, but the Bengals as a whole, I feel like they are getting kind of shunned. People are like, we gave them their chance. They went on their Super Bowl run, and now they're the Bengals again. And I think they're just too talented to actually slide that far. And I'm not impressed with Pittsburgh coming out of the AFC North. So I think there's a route here for Cincinnati to have a big year on offense.
Well, I know we're not talking about teams and kind of where they're going to end up, but the Bengals are going into this like one of those big powerhouse college teams that have a bunch of seniors and this is it. This is the year to do it. They have that mentality this year, and it's going to produce on the fantasy field too. So I don't Jamar Chase, like I was saying with Burrow, Jamar Chase is going to be a guy that's up there. So if there's anybody in that top 5, wide receivers that maybe you have question marks about, I don't think you could be wrong with Chase.
I don't think so either. And a guy that's rounding out most top fives is that St. Brown, Amon-Ra for Detroit, and I think that's tough to go against because
he gets so much volume. He's on my squad last year, Andy. He gets so much volume.
Yeah.
Jared looks his way, and it just helped him with the coming out of Sam Laporta.
Yes,
because it really takes the defense off of him, and you can't guard this guy with one guy. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is definitely a first-round pick. He's above Justin Jefferson for me. He's above Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown. I believe Amon-Ra St. Brown is the number 4 receiver in the NFL.
And Detroit plays in the NFC North. Chicago Bears have a questionable defense. I'm a Bears fan, but I don't think they're not the monsters of the Midway anymore. So do the Packers. And how many games did Detroit win? Like 42-35. That's their recipe for success. And I don't think anything's changing. So somebody's going to be scoring those touchdowns.
No doubt. He's definitely part of it.
A big part of that.
Yeah.
Got to get your thoughts. Resident Packers fan here.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua had a coming out party. There's going to be a lot of double teams going his way. Is he going to regress or ascend to that number 1 spot?
For the Rams, you mean?
For the Rams,
yes.
Los Angeles Rams.
I think he is the number 1 target, obviously. Cooper Kupp is still going to get his targets, whatever, but Puka Nacua is the number 1 wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. I just think he's more agile, faster, all that kind of stuff than Cooper Kupp.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So I do believe he's the number 1 option. When it comes down to red zone is where you're going to really, question mark with this guy. Is Cooper Kupp still going to get those red zone looks? And the answer is yes. 100%. Cooper Kupp is going to score the touchdowns for the Los Angeles Rams. Puka Nacua, volume, probably 10 catches a game. So if you got a PPR league, he's definitely going to be a very good fantasy player for you. Obviously, he'll get touchdowns as well. But Cooper Kupp, I believe, is going to have a huge upside in the red zone this year.
Yeah, and I think Puka is probably overvalued at the 12th pick.
I agree with that.
In that range.
I agree with that.
But he's going to have a really good season because, like you were saying, he's still going to get 12 catches. He's still going to be a great
Stafford's
target.
Still going to throw the ball.
But the touchdowns, that's just where he's going to regress a little bit.
And that's where you want that in the first round. You want those touchdowns,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
I agree.
Another guy that I have a huge question mark by, where it's a no-brainer for a lot of people, is Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Arizona Cardinals.
No.
I just hate drafting Cardinals. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Well, especially a rookie Cardinal. You don't know where their quarterback's head is. You don't know where the coaching staff is. You don't know. There are just too many question marks for the entire Arizona Cardinals team. This guy should be a slam dunk, first-round pick for any league, anywhere. But he's a rookie in an unproven system, unproven quarterback. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? I would love if this player played on the Carolina Panthers, but he probably wouldn't have much upside there either. I'm just saying, this guy's a freak athlete. Yeah. I'm not taking him in the first round, second round, third round. Not taking this guy.
He's a freak athlete in a situation that's terrible for him. Bookmark this. In 2 seasons, ask me how he's going to do on his new team because he won't be there. They're going to be in a rebuild again. I hope I'm wrong.
I can't believe he hasn't held out yet.
Yes, 100%. 100%
contract.
Take a page out of CDs and just hold out.
Yeah. Another guy that I want to get you guys' read on. Davante Adams.
Yeah.
He is so talented and he's so good, but he's stuck in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I just feel like management is like, hey, we're a party, and you know what? We're a hosting city, so it's fun when the Cowboys or whoever comes in and they blow us out or they beat the snot out of us. And Davante Adams, you're just a part of. Unfortunately, you're a victim of the situation.
He's the host. Yeah, he's the host.
The only upside that he has right now is that Gardner Minshew is going to fling the ball around, Andy. We've seen this time and time again. He is going to do off-the-wall stuff, and that will prove good for Davante Adams because he's just going to throw the ball up, and most likely he's going to catch it. So Davante Adams, I think he's going to have an all-right season. I don't imagine him being a top 10 wide receiver in the league this year in fantasy points.
Yeah. He really fluctuates. He's averaging around the 16th receiver overall, all the way up to the 7th.
He's too talented not to take in that round of, wide receivers. It's just is Garner he's going to be able to give him the ball, and is he going to be the quarterback for this foreseeable future? I have no idea. They could click, and he could be the best wide receiver.
Sure.
You don't know, but again, big question mark. Obviously, he has the talent. He's probably still going to get 10 catches a game. He's a safe pick.
Well, the Raiders always score with 20, 30 points a game. And as a wide receiver, too, I'd love to have Davante Adams. Yeah. I would love to, but he's going to look great when he's a Jet, later in the season.
Jaguar. whatever.
Are there any guys you're looking at later in the draft? I mean, it's crazy to me that guys like DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel are so low underneath some of these guys like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Like I put those guys above.
And there's just so many wide receivers that are so good, Andy. One guy that everybody's going to cut my head off about, but I believe this is a very good value pick, and it is Diontae Johnson for the Carolina Panthers, Andy.
Yeah,
and disaster, it's not for the faint of heart to draft Carolina Panthers players, but the way you can look at it, Andy, is it's the cheapest clear-cut number one wide receiver in the league.
Okay.
He's getting drafted at number 39, the 39th best wide receiver, and that's 86 overall. So I'm just saying we saw Adam Thielen have kind of a dominant stretch of fantasy football last year as the number one wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. The passing game should be more improved. The offensive line is more improved, and Bryce Young should be able to come out of what that was and get this guy the ball. I believe Diontae Johnson is a very good value pick all the way down at 86.
Probably. Do you got a value pick for us? You heard the horn there.
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey!
Yes. Think about it.
I knew it was coming.
Think about it. Keenan Allen, no longer on the Chargers, right?
Yeah,
Herbert needs his safety. He needs his safety. Yeah. Here's a guy with speed that he can cut, over the middle, get his first downs. He's going to need his guy for this. He no longer has that in Eckler as well. He runs a 4.34 40, so he's fast, and you could put him in your flex spot and just get your reception. So PPR, get your receptions there, and I think he's going to do better in the touchdown range than what we're giving him credit for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like him. Somebody has to score on this team, and it's not going to be Quentin Johnston. So it's
Quentin Johnston is, if you're thinking about drafting Quentin Johnston, just get out of here right now. But a lot of people are putting Ladd and Josh Palmer up there for breakout.
Yes.
They could be breakout players just because Justin has to get the ball to somebody, and it's going to be one of these two. So I don't hate what he's saying.
And Harbaugh, the focus is on running the ball, but he never forgets about passing.
No doubt.
That is for
Especially
sure.
with a talent like Justin Herbert.
He's an old quarterback.
Yes,
you gotta
he
look out
is.
for that. You heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the EOS, a Hefeweizen, one of their core series beers, described as a Bavarian wheat. The unfiltered beer may be a little sweeter than your traditional German Hefeweizen, but it's highlighted with notes of vanilla and nutmeg. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.